Hey friends, my name is Nate and you are watching and listening to the Perry Center podcast, where life meets life. I'm the executive director for the Perry Center Maternity Home, and I'm joined by my wife, Amber Douglas, and former resident, and she's been on this show before, Kerstyn. Thanks for being here.
Of course,
Thanks
happy to be here.
Yeah, I've been talking about this episode for a bit. Actually, I feel like I start every podcast episode with that, but I feel like this is a very interesting dynamic. And we shared a little bit on a previous episode of that dynamic. Kerstyn, being a former resident here, had her son at the Perry Center. And we as a family, Amber and I and our kids, kind of jumped in and supported you and Emon by essentially having them live in our house for a time. And so I just think that, when we talk about the work of the Perry Center and sometimes the work in ministry, it goes a little bit deeper than we ever plan.
Oh, way deeper.
Like we never signed up and said, this is going to happen in a few months. But I think just for us is answering the call. And so, some people have caught a little bit of this story before, but let us know kind of what that was looking like. How did we even get to this point of having a conversation with Emon in our house?
Yeah. Okay. Well, it kind of started out because of my addiction. Obviously, that's kind of really what led to all the trouble that brought me to the Perry Center. You know, and so. I was looking at time in prison, and I know we covered this in the last podcast, but just going to kind of breeze through it. But I was looking at some time in prison, and I just didn't have anybody to care for my son. It was a fact. I was going to prison, and we were kind of unsure on time and amount of time and what that was going to look like. And so that's...
Did it ever feel kind of like an afterthought, or this whole time carrying Emon, you knew things were happening, as far as like charges and all of that? Mm-hmm. Was it something that you were always thinking about? Like, okay, what is my plan? What am I going to do? Yeah.
I mean, I was always thinking like, I know I have to go. It was heavy on my mind because I was finally getting some sobriety under my belt, and I was, finally living a healthy lifestyle and, just doing the things that needed to be done, and finally I was getting the opportunity, and I'm like, still I have this thing dragging me down, and it was tearing me up. It was bad. I was emotionally wrecked, when I would get calls from my attorney and stuff, and she would just tell me, bad news. And it was always, you have to go to prison. So figure out what you're going to do with your son, Yeah. And we're ripping off the Band-Aid. It's basically what she told me. We have to do it, So.
And it came across really grim. I mean, it's grim across the board. But, when they were talking, it wasn't 3 months, 6 months. I mean, you had to have a plan for, what was
10 years?
10 years,
18,
yeah. And then...
minimum,
my
right?
attorney, 10 years was my mandatory minimum that my sentence carried. And so, and I asked my attorney, straight out, I was like, what do you think I'm going to get? She's been doing this for 15 years. She knows what she knows, what we're looking at. And she was like, I'm going to be honest with you, I think you're going to get 6 to 7 years. So when I went to court, that's what I thought I was going to get, that's what I was expecting, and that just wrecked me. I was like, I'm going to go, when I come back, my son's going to be grown up, and that was a scary thought. So, yeah.
And what was that process as you were kind of coming up with a plan? So you had Emon in April.
April.
Yeah. Okay. See, not bad. April.
You almost were way off.
Yeah, I was way off. I was thinking about my daughter.
Yeah.
April 11th.
28th.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The 28th.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Eden's gonna run it back and be like, "No, we're gonna play this again."
Yeah.
But anyways, so as you're kind of processing this and you're maybe going through possibilities, what do you do? You know,
Yeah.
what was your thought process on that?
Yeah, I was thinking, I could maybe ask my mentor mom. That was a stretch, because I barely knew her. She barely knew my son, and me and Rachel had kind of like went over it and like, maybe that's a possibility. I had a family member that I reached out to, and she's probably the only family member that's healthy enough to even consider, taking my son while I'm gone. And she completely just ignored it. She probably was like, oh, I'm just going to ignore this and better just not to answer her, And so I never even got a response from her. And so literally I was like, my son's going to have to go into like CPS and family's going to have to take him. And who knows if I'm going to get him when I come home. And yeah, it was so many things were running through my head. I mean, it's hard to even put it all together now, but yeah.
Yeah. And we kind of fast forward into that conversation of, can the Perry Center help?
Yeah.
And that was a very interesting thing for me in my organization when we're sitting around a conference table and literally everyone raised their hand like, yeah, I want to help. At that time, I think I had a 18 or 19-year-old Eden that was working for me, and she also was like, I could do it. And I'm like, girl, you are a teenager, single, like, just why? And I'm trying to think exactly. Do you remember how I kind of broke that news to you? I think I was in the kitchen.
Yeah, I think it was like some evening that you came home from work and just kind of explained this
I think it was very casual. Where
it was
like,
very, yeah, hey, I'm just cooking away.
Funny thing, like Kerstyn mentioned that she's, that maybe we could be an option for Emma or something like that. I can't remember.
It was more of like, hey, this is what's going on. Do you think you would ever consider something like this? And I think right away I was like, yes. Like, I don't even think I hesitated. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And then, I know, it's weird. I do like to process things.
You didn't even ask questions, though. And that's where it's like, for how long? Or what is this? Or it was, we have to do this. You even
said, like, it could be years. And I was like, my answer's still yes. But we have 3 kids, that we have to, explain this to and consider. And I think after you and I had spoke and it was like a yes, we sat the kids down, and it was, Rowan obviously was too young to answer, but, our older 2 were yes right away as well. Like, they didn't hesitate either.
From my perspective, and I shared this, I was trying to find a no. Like, somebody tell me no, because this is going to flip our world upside down a little bit. This is not an area we've ever discussed. We haven't ever sat and said, oh, let's be foster parents, or, what about adoption? Like, we've had conversations, but nothing really in depth, and nothing's ever presented itself. And I mean, I think I approached it casually with you, hoping that you were just like, that's crazy, and then move on. And that caught me off guard when it was instantly like, yeah, we have to do this. And I'm like, we don't. We really don't have to do this. And that was where then I went to Peyton, our oldest, and, I don't know why I went to her, but I was like, hey, there's this thing. Mom said yes. And, it greatly affects you. And how do you feel about this? Hoping that she'd be like, well, no, I don't ever want to do this. And her response was way more mature than I would ever have at that age. And she's like, Dad, this is God's calling, and we have to be obedient to the call. And if we're not, we're being disobedient. I was like, oh, curse your maturity. And I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. And then I ended up talking with Liam, and he's like,
I've always wanted a brother.
And I went to the board of directors and like, hey guys, you should tell me no about this. And they're like, this is a great idea. And I'm like,
wow, what a wonderful opportunity.
What about you guys? And so our process, it felt very fast, but I realized I ran to everybody looking for a no, and nobody gave me the answer that I was looking for. And so at that point I knew,
and that was your answer.
This is a call. Or what is it? I feel like there's this social media thing that, it's a couple going out shopping and they're like, I wanted this and I wanted this. And then we compromised and they got, what his wife wanted. And they like, I wanted this, I wanted this. And this is probably what happened. Like, I wanted this, I wanted this. Yep. And we compromised. And it was, Emon should come to the Douglas house.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your process as this was a potential? Like, what were the things that you were thinking about?
I guess I really did not think much about it. I knew it was gonna be a yes. And I don't think I really put into perspective like how much it would be having like a 2-year-old on top of like a baby. I was like, I can do this. It's gonna be easy. Like, I didn't even think about that. And then our older two are, in sports, so I didn't even think about, bringing diaper bags and all of this, and bringing two young ones
cribs
around or cribs, anything like that.
Anything baby related never
didn't occur until he was there, and I was like, oh. This is a lot more than I need or than I thought it would be, but it's the best decision I think we've ever made, and I would do it over again, if it were to happen. So
I know he would love that.
I know Rowan would.
Emon is steady in your house and doing so well.
Yeah, he really is.
So
he really is.
I know Amber has said, like, any other situation with any other resident or whatever, we need to talk about it. And that's scary territory for me, and especially as our kids are getting older. But
I think what made it easier was just like, as a family, we could see how well you were doing, and that you truly wanted to, better yourself, have a wonderful life for Emon as well. Yeah. And I think that was just kind of like why we said yes, is like, we can see this, and I don't want him to be like with some random person and you never being able to see him or possibly ever being able to see him again. So I'm like, it's just not right. So I think that was just, why it was so easy to do.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great reminder, because that was part of that conversation of, okay, where's she at in life? What does she want to do? And I forgot about that. Yeah. And we just didn't really have an interest if we were essentially babysitting, and you're going to come back, jet out, do the same things that you've been doing for years or whatever. And it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know that we want to go down that road. But I mean, when we look at model resident and someone who's seeking Jesus and just really hungry for a life change, you're it. Like, you have conquered so much and you're doing so well. And I think that was that piece that this is a no-brainer. Like, we absolutely have to do this.
Even my mom said that today. Like, I was like, oh, hey, guess what? We're doing a podcast with Kerstyn. And she's like, oh, that's so awesome. She's like, she is just doing amazing. She's like, I'm so proud of her. Aww. I was like, yes. Yeah. I know. I think we all are.
Yeah.
So let's fast forward. So this decision has been made. Emon's coming to the Douglas house.
That's right. I chose. I want you guys to know there was like a couple, like, And it was helpful for me too that you guys like allowed me into your house and we had like a meal together. And we even did, well, maybe this was after like sentencing and stuff, but I went with you guys to get a tree and like we did that, and I met your parents and I met her parents, and then and so I was like, this is the family I want to raise my kid, you know, and, or like if that was the case, you know.
Man, apparently I forgot a lot because I'm like, what? Like, we went and got a tree. We did go get a tree. We cut down a Christmas tree day after Thanksgiving.
I stayed the night at your parents' house with you guys in Minnesota. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Wow.
We were like, whoa.
I forgot about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we had Thanksgiving with my family.
Yep, we had Thanksgiving.
Got to meet everybody, and then we headed out to, your parents' house.
Yeah, so we were crazy enough. We were like, yes. This is going to be good.
Yeah, that was helpful for me too. And it was helpful that like Amber was a stay-at-home mom. And so Emma would get a lot of one-on-one attention, you know, from a woman, you know, and like, so that was really helpful for me too. And that was like a lot of the reason I was like, these are the people, like they're normal people, you know what I mean? To an extent, okay.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they love football, you know, they have a normal amount of like discipline. It's not crazy. They're not like, and like it just felt like the way that I would want to raise my son. And so I was like certain that it was you guys. Like when there was like an opportunity for other people, you know, Rachel being one of them.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like, I was like, it's them. So yeah.
That's special to hear that. I think that, I think I shared that we're going to love him and we're going to care for him like he's my son. And the way we even did it was zero benefit for our family. You know, it was, we could certainly run it through foster care and receive respite and dollars, but it was, no, we're just going to take a temporary guardianship. We're going to take full financial responsibility for him, which was expensive on some things, house repairs, you know, all those things. But it was, he's going to be a part of our family for whatever season that is. And I would still say like, he's a part of our family. And, you know, sometimes I pray that
we are. Thank you very much.
we collectively.
Yes,
But, you know, sometimes I just picture him when he gets older. I think I ddid that a lot, just picturing as he gets older, like our involvement and what that looks like. And maybe he's just wants to drop by and say hey and hang out. And so I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like. He's still very young. But let's fast forward a little bit. So decision has been made, and we're getting to the point of sentencing. So you have to leave out of state. You know, tell me that process as we're getting a little bit closer to that.
Yeah, that was hard. They postponed my sentencing a couple times, and so I was relieved every time they did, because I'm like, okay, you know, it's nearing it. And then when they would like push it out, I'm like, oh, relief. Like I get a little bit more time with them, like, because after hearing that I was gonna get so much time, I just wanted every second I could have, you know. And my attorney was still telling me, we need to hurry up and get it over with, because the faster you get in, the faster you get out.
Right.
And so it was hard. Yeah, you know, after I knew it was you guys, I was a little better. And then I knew he was going somewhere safe. I had a home for him, you know, and but still I wasn't sure how much time I was getting. And then, you know, it came to the day where I had to start packing my stuff up and, you know, think about saying goodbye to my kid. And that day, it was hard. It was really, 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 really hard. And there were so many people around me too. And I was a wreck. I was internally like wrecked. And I just thought like, I could not, you know, hold him again until he's 7 years old, you know, or 5, 6, 7 years old. And so I was very emotional that day.
Yep.
Amber was emotional that day too.
Yep.
I think a lot of people were emotional that
Yep.
day. And then Amber picked him up that morning, and you guys kind of just hung out with him that day while I drove to court. And 5 hours to South Dakota and to have court. And then, do you want me to get into all that right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, that was,
Because I can keep
yeah,
going.
absolutely. I mean, that was
Yeah.
such a strange thing
It
for
was
us.
so strange. Yeah.
And I mean, again, we said yes without an end date.
Yeah.
And you said yes without an end date. And that was just a weird exchange.
It's
We
so
knew
weird.
it was like, okay, this is going to be hard for Kerstyn.
Yep.
It's going to be hard for Emma. I don't know that we knew it was going to be hard for us. And so we're just like, okay, well, pick him up. And then it was, he's at our house. And this could be for a while. And I think that's
Yeah.
where it kind of set in. I don't think I was
All of a
working
sudden,
that day. I
he's
don't
here.
remember. But we were, I just remember kind of really, that was a weird feeling like, oh, she'll come back and pick him
Yeah.
up. Or like, you know,
she
that
won't,
baby,
and that's even weird. That's
Yeah, that
so weird. Yeah.
babysitting feel of like, oh, she's just going to come pick him up.
Yep.
And I was like, wait a second. We don't know anything.
Yeah.
And we don't know when you're coming back. Yeah.
Or even when we would hear from you.
Right.
You know. we
Also
had no
that,
clue.
because
Yeah.
that was new territory of how do we communicate
Yeah.
with this person?
Yeah.
How do we make decisions? And,
Oh, it was so weird.
So that day of sentencing, you drove 5 hours
Yeah.
through South Dakota to essentially sit in court. And again, you had literally everything against you that day.
Yeah.
You had a long day. I think for those who maybe are not familiar with the court system on these types of cases that I would still consider smaller, they're not like day trials, like several day trials.
Yeah.
That there's sometimes multiple cases happening next. You were the last case
Yeah.
of the day, which generally, in my opinion, if I was a judge, not a judge, I would be annoyed at that point. Like,
Yeah.
you sit,
Like, I'm done, I'm over
everyone's like, I'm going to change my life. I'm doing something different. You're like, oh my gosh, I just want to go home.
Same song and dance.
Yeah, same, like you just
Yeah.
hear it all day. And
Yeah.
so you had these things that are against you. And just, what was that process? So as you're kind of getting close to sentencing?
Well, actually, my co-defendant, someone I got in trouble with, was sentenced right before me, and she was sentenced to 18 months in prison, and it was so interesting because, you know, we sat in a room like on the side waiting for my turn, you know, and my attorney walked in and she just like started crying and she was like, I'm so sorry. And she's like, I never get like this. And she was just like, it's, you know, not looking good for you because there's like a scoring system in the federal courts. And if you score a certain amount, like for prior convictions and just the trouble you've been in and time you've served in jail, like they can take all that into consideration and you score like a number. And whatever category you fall into kind of determines how much time you're going to get,
Yep.
or in the range. And so my co-defendant scored quite significantly lower than me. And so she was like, we'll be lucky if we get 5 years. And I just was like, man, I'll take 5, you know, don't give me 7. I'll take 5. You know,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's okay. We can work with 5. You know, I was like, maybe I could be home at 3. You know, I was like, that's what the process that was going in my head. I was like, maybe we can be home at 3. My son won't be in school yet. Maybe I'll be home before he goes to start school, you know? So I was just trying to see the bright side, really, because it was going to happen regardless, you know? And, yeah, we went into the courtroom and I prepared a speech that, you know, was sincere and like from the bottom of my heart, and I'm just going to cry thinking about it, but I just felt terrible, you know, for all the things that I'd done to bring me to this point in my life, and just the selfishness that brought me here, and I was very sincere, I couldn't believe that I'd led so many people to the destruction of their own lives. Who knows the hands that, this stuff can get into. You don't know the families that it's tearing apart, and so anyway, I prepared a really good speech, and I just, I poured it out in the courtroom. And Rachel was there and spoke on my behalf too. And it was enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't a whole courtroom of people. It was just me and Rachel, and my co-defendant had a room full of people, like, backing her up, And so I was like, oh man, yeah, she got 18 months, and I have and it didn't matter. We didn't need all those people. We didn't need, all these people to give big, elaborate statements about the way that I was doing. My attorney said wonderful things about me. And she's like, I've been doing this for 15 years, and never have I ever seen a client do as much and go as far as Kerstyn did, And even the district attorney who was prosecuting me was like, she's just doing great. We really don't have bad things on her. She's done everything she's supposed to. She's been cooperative. And even after, and through the process, of sentencing, my judge just wanted to know about me, kept asking me questions and how did you end up here? You, a smart, bright young lady, end up in a courtroom, a federal courtroom, on a significant amount of drugs, charge. It was a sad situation, really, and sad, significant life events, And finally I had a chance, and I think that they saw that, now I have a chance. I have a foundation, and they saw that, and it's really was the Perry Center. That was my foundation where everything just grew and flourished and bloomed and blossomed. So I after the judge had, got through speaking to me and stuff, he's like, you know what, I put down 26 months. I thought, why the 2 extra months? We'll just, and I was like, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, probably like that. It just sank into my seat. I'm like, I probably looked at Rachel and I was like, just mouthing to her, oh my gosh. And he was like, I'm just going to pretend that, these laws don't exist today.
Wow.
And just grabbed his law book and was like, I'm sentencing you to 24 months in prison. And I just was like, it doesn't sound fun, but I was so happy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, considering the time I've served, considering, kind of the system and how you can knock time off if you're programming and just doing stuff to better yourself while you're in there, it's looking good. I can be home in a year. So
Yeah.
And that was crazy for us. And I mean, praise the Lord. That's all God. And his
that's it. That's exactly what
divine
it was.
hand in every piece of that.
Yeah.
Everything was against you again. When we're talking about,
I was guilty.
you were guilty.
That's it.
You knew it.
That's what I'm like, yeah.
You did it. The court. You were the last case. The minimum requirements. And just God intervened, and I think that's so beautiful. And for us, we just were chilling in a living room all day.
Yeah. And then I see my
happens?
phone and it's Kerstyn. I was like, wait, I thought she was supposed to be gone,
to
not
prison?
knowing.
Yeah.
And then I answered and you're just like, I got 24 months.
Yeah.
He closed the book on all the laws. I think you even said he just closed the book on the laws.
Yeah.
He didn't care what they were.
Wow.
This is what we got.
Yeah.
And then what was amazing was you're like, I'm coming home. I get to spend one more Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
get to turn myself in.
Oh,
I think it was
that's right.
the day
Yeah, we
after
had
or
to-
something.
Yeah.
Or
I
some-
don't know what's
Yeah.
happening. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
like, well, and then I told him, he's like, that doesn't happen. Usually
Yeah.
they have to go,
Instant.
right away.
Yep. That's
And
exactly
so
what
you
my
got that.
attorney was telling me too. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got to spend,
That's where
the
we cut down the
Thanksgiving.
trees, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Got
then
it.
you had Thanksgiving and did the whole.
Yep.
Eden is back there just like, is this guy, how does he breathe?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even know what's going on.
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a lot up here and
good.
a lot of
So I think
stories.
that was amazing in itself that, now you know how much time you have, but you get, I think you went in like October or like the...
No, it was, so I was sentenced November 14th, and
Yep.
then I went in November 27th.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was the beginning of or middle of November. So you knew how much time, and then you had at least one big holiday left that you could actually enjoy and.
I wanted Christmas, but
fun.
yeah.
We got you
I was
out
happy
before
to get what
Christmas,
I
though.
got, to be honest.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to argue. Trust me.
Yeah. Oh,
After
for sure.
what I had just witnessed, I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
So we had a
That's
clear
amazing.
plan when clear as mud plan of okay, this is what it's going to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is when we started learning, oh, there's more to this than just watching a little boy.
yeah.
Yep.
We ended up loading all of your stuff,
Yeah.
putting it into our house.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because you showed up at the Perry Center, and I say this often with a lot of our residents. They show up with a grocery sack of items.
That's exactly what I had. I had a bag of like
You
paperwork.
filled our
then-
bottom stairs.
And then you guys leave the Perry Center, and it's like, we need to find a moving truck to get all of this stuff out.
Yeah.
And that was the first hurdle of, oh, she has stuff,
Yeah.
and we're gonna need her room for the next resident. So I guess we're gonna store your stuff. It was everywhere. We had stuff underneath our stairs, in our garage.
Yep.
And then eventually in storage.
Yeah.
It was literally.
Yeah, I was bringing loads
Everywhere.
over to you guys' garage.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, it's never ending.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it was like, why do you keep everything?
Everything.
You have just a bunch of like nonsense.
Yeah. It's my last lesson that I could give. So,
I had one box full of books too that I know is like ridiculously
Yes.
heavy.
Yeah, it was
Not
really heavy.
necessary. You didn't read those books. You were just shuffling them around.
Well,
This antique chair that we moved around 100 times.
I
you don't
still
sit
have
in
that
it.
chair, and
Do you sit in it?
no.
Yep.
Is it in storage?
It's in the garage, yeah.
Exactly where we left it.
Well, I'm hoping I can get a bigger house one day, and maybe,
And then you can use
maybe
it.
it'll have a place.
I want a picture of you sitting in that chair
Yeah,
when you
right.
get into that house, so I
Okay.
know that
Yes.
it's finally made a resting place. I'm like, why is this girl thrifting everywhere and bringing all this stuff?
Yeah.
So we now have you head over to prison, and we now have Emon living in our house. Yes, we had a 2-year-old, but you kind of get out of the baby mode very quick. You know, you kind of forget those things. What were some of those like moments that you're like, oh, I forgot about how this is, or
Sleep. Waking up. We got lucky with all of our kids kind of sleeping through the night. So we didn't, have to wake up in the middle of the night and
day one. We actually we're not allowed to tell these stories to like anybody in our small group or churches. Like from day one, we bring them home. Our children sleep through the night. And,
we got really lucky.
the Lord
Yeah.
knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
Well, everyone's like, oh, it's just pure luck with Peyton. And I was like, okay, don't tell me that. And then it happened with Liam. And then it happened with Ron.
Oh yeah,
so
you
it's like,
guys got
okay,
you
we
guys
got really lucky. So
Not
I
with
think
Emma, though.
no, Emon was like,
he's like,
Surprise.
here you go. So I think that was something that I was like, oh, I mean, you get a couple nights here and there with your kids, but it was, night after night. And I get it. He's not, used to, being in the crib or a different house and not having his mom right there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it was understandable. It was for the full year. So I was looking forward to like sleeping through the night afterwards. But it was that or the amount of stuff that you have to bring places, you just get out of that stage and then now you have like a diaper bag and you have to remember, oh, you got to have extra clothes and diapers and make sure you have the bottle and make sure you have everything. So it's kind of just trying to remember all of that stuff. Feeding, I mean, I think he was 6 months. 7 months.
Yeah, he was 7 and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of starting to introduce like more food.
Yeah.
Trying that out. And, you know, at the beginning it was, you know, trying to figure out everything of his sleeping habits or when does he eat? And you just kind of forget that, you know, going into the toddler stage.
I should have gave you a schedule.
Hey, it's all good. We
you.
did it.
Thanks for thinking of that.
That was in his defense. You know, yes, it was an exhausting year. Sleep was hard, and I think that just points out to, I think there was a lot of separation anxiety, and then he's in a home with strangers. Yes, we were kind of around him, but I think that all kind of fed fear. And, you know, no matter what we would do, it just, he wouldn't sleep and wouldn't sleep well. And which then disrupted the entire house. And so Rowan, they were sharing a room because we only have so many rooms in our house. And they were sharing a room. And then Rowan wasn't sleeping because he wasn't sleeping. So then we moved Rowan into our room so she could sleep. And then... now we're still trying to get her out of our room, and like it's just this ongoing cycle that we weren't anticipating, and I think we'll talk about this. Like literally the first day, you had to take him to the doctor's appointment. And
that was
I did,
and that was rough.
Was.
And you had very specific like, hey, these are some of the medical things that I'm hoping for. And I remember Amber calling me bawling.
Yeah.
And she went into that doctor's office.
I did not like him.
No
one
names.
bit.
Let's not drop any
I don't
names
even
in
remember the name, but you
I
had
know exactly who it is.
told you told us what you wanted. Yeah. And, you know, I explained that to him, and I wanted to, you know, respect your wishes of what you wanted. And yeah, I went in there and he's like, well, this is not right. She's going to harm her child doing this.
And she should be.
Well, she's already there. So
He totally talked down, and it was almost like he was attacking me for it. And I'm like, no way.
We took care of that problem very quick.
So that's when we switched.
I've only had this kid for a day.
Yeah. So I mean, that alone, just like, I was like, oh, I have to deal with this guy. And so I think
actually like brought it to me, and I was like, totally go to, and I still go to your doctor.
Do you?
Now.
Awesome.
She's
great. We love her.
She's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we switched, I think, right away.
Yeah.
You know, and then I went to her and I explained everything, and she's like, that's not right.
Yeah.
You know, and respected every kind of decision you had made. And then I think even through the rest of the year, you know, I had spoke to you about different things, and, you know, different things changed at certain times, you know, with the doctors. So I think, that was a learning curve. That
but
I
also,
was
like, he had to learn to be roadworthy. We have a couple of very active kids in sports, and it was like, he comes with us now. And what I love about our community at school, at church, at work, like the amount of people that just loved him and like prayed with us as a family, but also like basketball game. Some parent would come over and just grab him and sit down with him, and it would give us like
just a little
20 minutes of break, and kids would play with him, and he was a part of us. And I mean, they do that even now with Rowan, our youngest, that they still like high school students they will come up, grab Rowan and sit and hang out with her. And that's what, I mean, I love our school community, and I love our church community, that just so many people didn't even know him and didn't even know you. And it was, how can we help and serve? And
I think what amazing, I mean, I don't think you and I realized either that, you know, he's coming into our family, but, well, we have parents and we have, you know, siblings as well. So this affects everybody, and just how quickly they, you know, even, you know, took him and loved him, and, you know, still, you know,
Still
to this
do.
day, you know, absolutely adore him too. You know, so I don't think we realized that either, you know, that they would be affected, you know, by it. And so that was, they were a huge help through everything too. But yeah, our families and friends, church, and the community of school, like, really were awesome.
took an
through it
army.
all.
Yeah. So, yes, there was some adjustments on our end, but there was a big adjustment that we didn't even talk about or didn't even think or know. Kerstyn's in prison.
Yeah.
And when we took him on, we said, okay, yep, we have him. We're going to care for him. And I think we forgot, like, Kerstyn's going to need help and support too. And so just share a little bit on your perspective, because phone calls started come rolling in.
Yeah.
And it became this ongoing thing that we're like, oh, yeah, we're going to talk to her and we're going to be a part of her life. So just share a little bit on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys, I had gave you guys, like, all my money that I had. So you guys had to, like, supply me with, you know, whatever I needed.
Commissary.
Yeah. And so that was a piece of it too, kind of just maneuvering the money system. And it's always weird when you're in jail or prison.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to talk to him as much as I possibly could. I didn't want him to forget my voice. You know, I wanted him to, like, remember, I guess. And I thought, well, I'm going to have to, as much as I possibly can, get on the phone with him, video time him. And that was not an easy thing. You know, I went from county jail to county jail to county jail before I ended up at the prison where I was, you know, going to spend my time. And so maneuvering each county, I'm at a new place. I don't know when I'm leaving.
Yeah, you think that, here's my quibble on county jails. Guys, can we get on the same system when it comes to, like, dollars and cents?
Nice.
Yeah.
No, everybody's on a different system. And so we had dropped $50 here, and so that we could talk. And then that doesn't transfer to the next place you go. And they have a new system. And then it's $50 there.
Yeah.
And then a new system. And I'm like, for Pete's sake.
And just when you get used to one system, then you moved. And you're like,
man.
oh, no.
Yeah, we were elated when I called Amber and I was like, I'm finally here.
Yes.
She's like, oh, praise God.
Yes.
And we don't have to keep, you know, going back and forth and maneuvering around and trying to make things work. But yeah, so, you know, it was a little bit of a process to get the phone situated. What's going to work for you guys? What's going to work for me? Then I started a job when I was in there too. And so working around that and those times. And then, there was a point where I think, like, maybe Rowan started kindergarten or preschool or something like that. And so so there was just times, you know, we were trying to schedule everything. And their systems just aren't great.
No.
And so, and thankfully I was in there when you get 500 free minutes a month. And so that's not the same now.
Yep.
And I know that to be true because I still know people that are incarcerated. But yeah, their system is not, it's just horrible, you know. It's choppy, you never know what you're gonna get, you know. You're lucky if you get a video that you can connect to, you know.
I can even see clear.
And then internal issues of...
We couldn't speak on audio, like I couldn't even call Amber's phone, and so I had to call, like, your son's phone. And it was just like, it was crazy. It was all over the place. And we were, you know, at one point we were locked down for like weeks at a time because there was, just bad stuff going on in the prison, and so they had to lock us down, and so we wouldn't get video visits. I'd be stuck in my pod and couldn't get out, or my unit, whatever they call it, and couldn't get out to get to my video visit. And I'm like, sitting there ready to go, and I'm like, man, it's just like a bummer. You know, you're like, man, you want to, you'd only get these times.
Yeah.
Well,
and that
it's hard when you have an infant.
Not luckily, but I mean, at least it was at least towards the end of your time.
So the end.
But then at the same time, trying to figure out when you were coming home, and how everything was going, it was kind of like, now I can't speak to her. Like, when am I going to be able to, when is he going to be able to see you? Yeah. So that was hard too.
Literally out of the 365 days, I bet you guys talked 300 days. At least.
Yeah, I definitely tried to.
At least. And just when you look at that, like, you guys became best friends essentially over the phone,
hey,
where
how's
it was
it going?
how are you? And then you'd sit and you would read stories to your son to the best of your ability with all the noise in jail and Rowan running around our house.
It was crazy.
It was so much. Sometimes we were driving and heading to a game and talking, and sometimes we were at work, and what we wanted as a family is to support you and make sure that you had those moments, even though sometimes it drove us crazy, where we're like, I don't want to answer the phone, and like, just because
I don't have the time.
It was just like, what do we do? I don't have time, but we knew how important it was, and for you to continue to have a connection. He still knew, like, mommy, and was able on those video calls. He could see you, and that was hard too. He was toddler, and so you're trying to get him to sit and talk on the phone, and he was I don't want to do that. I want to go play.
So
Phone
Amber's literally chasing him around with the phone. Talk to your mom. Get out of there. Talk to your mom.
I think the special moments, though, were caught on FaceTime, at least, that you were able to, see. His
first birthday. Christmas.
We waited for presents.
So I could see him open some.
And then his steps, every single week that he started, we
progress.
We had those on FaceTime, so you got to at least see. Some big, some big milestones or a couple of special things. So, I mean, I'm grateful for that, where you were still at least able to, see that and be a part of it. And, that was our whole, goal is, to keep you with those moments. And I still have videos, and when they pop up on Facebook, I send them to you. And, so it's nice to have.
So as we get closer, so a year mark is coming. We know Kerstyn is getting out. I mean, sometimes I felt like, is she going to get out? Because it changed every single day. I was like, I'm pretty sure she's lying to us. And Amber's like, no, she's not. I'm like, she's never leaving. And so we get to that mark. You're getting released. You're coming to Fargo. What was that like? What was on your mind? What were you excited about?
My heart's just racing just thinking about remembering it, because I was like, when I just remember like being called to the office, and it, like my case manager, they have an office or like a case manager for each unit. And so she was like, called me to the office, and she was like, we have your date, and it's November 18th. So it wasn't even a full year. It was like 18.
A week shy from a full year.
Yeah,
don't tell them. They're coming back for you for the last couple days.
No. No, I served my time.
We're done.
Yeah, we're done. I'm sure my PO would let me know if that was the case.
Yeah.
Where was I at?
So you got your date, November 18th.
Yeah, I got my date, and I actually chose that date. And which was funny because that doesn't happen. You don't get to choose your date. She actually was like, she was like, I was pushing for you to get out end of October, But this is a weird thing, and maybe you guys don't even know. Well, you guys know some of it because I was put on medication when I was in there for hepatitis C that I contracted when I was in addiction. And so that medication paid for in full is like a large amount of money, and they were paying for it. And so I'm like, well, if I have the opportunity to clear myself of this disease that could potentially kill me for free, that's like, yeah, that's a lottery ticket, you know? And so
A lottery ticket in jail.
I mean, really though, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, God has a plan in this. And so I was like, end of October, you know, I won't be done with my medication. And so I was like, I really don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But I might need a couple more weeks in here because they don't let you transfer out into the community with the medication.
Yeah.
And so I finished the day before I got released. I finished the medication. I was like, can we do November 18th? You know, see what they say. Just throw it out there. I was lucky to come here because they were trying to put me in a halfway house.
Oh.
And they were like, it got approved. They got approved. You can go back to the Perry Center. That you know, you can. And I was like, whoa, you know, that's amazing, you know. So, because I remember we were like, I don't know if they're gonna put me in a halfway house. It was just up in the air. You never know.
I think they called both of us and even your work to
Talk
like
to POs.
to talk to a lot of people to get it, you know, approved.
Yeah.
And so that was up in the air of like, okay, are you gonna, yes, you're being released, but are you gonna come here or are you gonna go to a halfway house?
Right.
So I think even still when we knew the date, we didn't
know what that even meant.
what it looked like.
Yeah, I still didn't know what it looked like. Yeah. Well, I have been like tested for the disease again, and the medication worked. So
Yeah.
I'm
awesome.
free of
Good.
hepatitis C now.
Yeah.
So that's a miracle too that happened, you know. And
Yeah.
I was even able to kind of, you know, have some opportunities to just minister to women in there and just, you know, be a light. And I was told for multiple women, they like wrote me some letters and stuff before I left, and they're like, you're just a light in the darkness, you know, and like in this dark place, and I'm just so glad to have met you, you know. And I prayed and prayed and prayed before I went there for good roommates, and I ended up with a mom and a daughter who were Christians, and
I think that was like one of the first
they were
things you said.
strict, like no messing around in here, and
There's no cursing.
there's no cursing. Yep, they were just exactly what
Just
I
like
needed.
the
What
Perry
you
Center.
needed.
Just like the Perry Center. Yeah.
Just
Yep.
the prison version. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got released November 18th, coming to Fargo.
Oh, yeah.
You're excited to see your son. We're excited for you to see your son and also be like, here you go.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen right away because
It was a process.
the buses take a little bit.
Yep.
And so he was sleeping by the time
Yeah.
you got to Fargo. So what
Yeah.
was that? Like you're anticipating that?
Yeah. Honestly, I was like, I was anticipating it. I wanted to run to your house and go steal him from your room, your house. But I was like, you know what? I can wait another day. This is going to be, you know, like, but of course I was like sitting so anxious the next morning, and I'm like probably shaking, and I'm like, okay, is he coming yet? Like, when is he going to be here?
Yep.
And I just remember like you got up and like went to open the door, but you didn't tell me that you'd seen them out there. So I was like, what is he doing? You know, like we were talking, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
But, and then I heard Amber, and I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And like, of course I was like, my heart was pounding out of my chest. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to see my kid, you know, and I was just like, hey, Emma, and he just like looked at me, and he probably was a little confused, and he kind of looked confused. And he just like walked up to me and like turned around and like kind of
Just
fell into me.
sat
Yeah,
in?
fell into
Yeah.
me.
Yep.
And I was like,
Yep.
and I just like grabbed him. That was a bit, if I could relive it, I would relive it, because it just felt so good
Yeah.
to like just have him in my arms, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And I did get to see him once when I was gone.
Yep.
So, and that was like a really sweet moment, but that was even like so structured that I couldn't get up and like follow him around and play with him, and like he could sit on my lap, but he didn't want to.
Yep.
He was on the
Toddler,
move
yeah.
at the time, you know. So
We slept that night for a little bit, and then
oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, he got dropped off at like 3 a.m. at our house, which was awesome.
Yeah, and they fed him a bunch of Arby's, and
Yeah.
like, just they were like,
Memories.
that kid can eat. I don't know where. I remember you guys telling me like he just needs to slow down when he's eating. He's just,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
he's just like piling
He
it in there.
shoves it in
Like
there.
he has never
Yes.
seen food before. I
Okay,
have
I
never seen a
don't-
kid eat like that.
He did it for a little bit, and he doesn't do it anymore. But
Yeah.
and from the first night he was back with me, he slept all the way through
Yeah.
the night, and like woke up at 7 a.m. Like
You told me that the next day. I was like, I was like, no, he did not.
Yeah, I was like, it was great. Yeah, I'm like,
He just knew.
and then he crib slept for a while because Nate was like, keep him in the crib.
Keep
He's
him in
doing
the
really good in
crib.
it. And you know, it slowly.
No.
And now he's still. No, I put him to bed in his own bed
Yeah.
now, but he still gets up in the middle of the night. And I'm like, when are you ever gonna sleep through the night?
That's on
We
you.
almost have a 5-year-old, so she wakes up in the middle of the night
Does she?
and comes in. So
Okay, so, wow,
you might have a few years.
maybe some more years. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Amber caught that reunification on like a 5-second video. It was
Yeah.
the worst video ever. I love
Yeah.
you, but it was the worst
It
video
was
ever.
because
you started like,
I did
She was,
because
like,
I broke
trying-
down and I cried because it was a very special moment. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tried, you know, in that little bit that I tried, it was still okay.
yeah.
You know, but
Yeah. It was.
I
enough.
cried like a baby.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
no one needed to hear that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a beautiful moment. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Emon is transitioned out of our home, and he's in your home and living life 100 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
We, you know, it's a little different for us, and,
Yeah.
and we've been trying to figure out like what is life like now? What are we to him? What does he care? I don't know, but just, you know, how has that transition gone? And I mean, we see him often, so
Yeah.
it's not like
Yeah.
he doesn't know who we are or anything
Yeah,
like
right.
that.
Yeah, he says neat and amber or something like that.
Yeah, neat.
Neat and amber.
Yeah. Well, and for a while it was dad, and that was a weird thing too, because I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh
I
no!
don't
Even
know
in
what
that
to
little
say.
video, he's like daddin, right before he sees me.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can kind of see that.
Yeah, and that was, and then mom was a thing for a while, and that was really confusing. Then he's like, mom.
Maybe he's like associating our all women mom. Or
Yeah, and so just like what, and you could just see wheels turning. Like, this doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
But okay, whatever, and just continuing on. But
the transition to you, you know, even like when you first transitioned to our house, you know, it was okay. Like he did fine.
Yeah,
You know, transition back to you, he did awesome.
yeah. It was.
You know,
great.
I mean,
couldn't
it was probably the best scenario that you could
Yeah.
have asked for.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
transitioning
Oh, yeah.
a toddler back, you know,
Yeah.
to someone that he hasn't, you know, been with, you know. So that was
Yeah, I
awesome.
think.
he just knew his mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just knew his mom.
And he
Oh,
just
yeah,
needed you
and
to sleep
just-
through the night. So
He
He
knows.
knew.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's just, yeah, it's that unspeakable mom bond. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? People don't, you know, and you just like, ugh, I can't even explain it. But yeah,
It was a joy to serve you that way.
Yeah.
oh, thanks.
And
It was a miracle for me, life changing.
yeah.
You know,
We were happy to do
and
it.
we're still
Yeah.
a part of your life, and
yeah,
I've said it 100 times to you, and I keep on saying I'm just so proud of
Yeah.
the way that you are raising your son. I'm so proud of the way that you're living your life, and following Jesus. And
That's right.
I mean, your testimony is just amazing. And
Powerful.
yeah, and I just, when I think of the Perry Center, and again, we've been in this season of just seeing fruit, and a lot of it of just women's lives just being completely transformed by the gospel. And I probably have been a broken record, but I am so grateful for the season that I get to be in, and this ministry is in, where we're just seeing so much change and transformation, and not just for a season, that your life is completely transformed. And
Yeah.
I can name several other residents. One just popped into my office on Friday, and just there's another one, and I see another one the Sunday before, and
Yeah.
I'm just so thankful that I get to be kind of in the stands watching this all unfold. And I'm like, Lord, thank you. Like, what an honor to witness.
Yeah.
And not, I mean, people will go their whole life sometimes without ever seeing the fruit. And we're
lucky we get to see it,
every day.
every day,
So crazy. So before we go, one big highlight each of like something that is just funny with Emon and who he is, or maybe something that you really miss about him and something that you just think is so fun. So you go first, Kerstyn.
Oh,
what is that one Emon thing that you're just like, I just love this?
There's so many things. This is really hard. This is a hard question. This is like the hardest question I've ever been asked. He's just his own person, okay? And the other day, and that he understands so well, And the other day I'm just like, and he gets frustrated like every kid does. And the other day I'm just like, just calm down and talk to Jesus and relax. And then I'm driving, right? And I look back, I have pictures of it, and he's just like this. And he's like, and praying. And it's the sweetest thing in the entire world to see. And I was like almost in tears, because I'm like, man, he just he understands,
Yeah.
He knows a lot about Jesus, because I talked to him about Jesus, but it's just like, whoa.
When you can finally see that,
when
it's
you can
clicking
finally see
and-
the fruit,
Yeah.
of
Yep,
what
and they
those seeds
understand.
you've been sowing, and you're like,
Yep.
I feel like I'm reaping them. You
Yeah.
know, like, oh my goodness, my son is like,
Yeah.
my little apple fruit.
My little apple fruit.
I don't know, but
That's hilarious.
I'm bearing good fruit. See this kid,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
That's so good.
he's just he's in a phase right now too, where everything's his.
Yeah.
And so he's in the mind phase, and I'm like, no, not everything is yours. And so just teaching him and watching him understand and begin to understand over time, and sometimes it'll happen so fast, and I'm like, wow, you just went from not knowing this at all, and now all of a sudden you're completely,
Yeah.
understanding of it. And then he's just so fun. Definitely energetic, all boy.
Yep.
I could go on.
Yes,
See,
yes.
now I can't stop.
we used to wrestle a lot.
Yeah.
Just get that energy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amber, what's that one thing that you miss? I mean, you still get to see him
Yeah,
and
I still
experience
get
him
to
all the
see him.
time.
Yeah.
We're babysitting him on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. He'll be nice.
what is that one thing that you're just like, this was so fun, or I really miss this?
I would say probably seeing both him and Rowan play together. Those two are little buddies.
Yeah.
She doesn't see him every day, but when she sees him on Sunday, she's just like,
She runs
here we
for
go.
him.
She is so excited, and I can see that he's excited as well.
Yeah.
He's like a person he asked for, and
Yeah.
that's the first person she asked for. Do I get to see Emma?
Yeah.
And so just seeing that bond that they have.
Yeah.
Is special.
It is.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, the one thing that I really miss, was Saturday mornings with him. And I don't know what it was. Amber would sleep a little bit, and I would wake up with him and Rowan, and Liam was running around, and I would put him in his high chair. This kid loved pancakes, by the way.
Man.
He
Not
loved
even
pancakes.
I have a
like
feeling I know what's coming.
homemade pancakes. He loved the frozen pancakes, and I was like, "Why are we doing this?" And my favorite thing about him, and I promise this isn't cruel or anything, but you would
I know exactly where this is
you would
going.
put the pancakes in the toaster, and so we're in the kitchen on the other side of the room, and he's sitting in his high chair, and it would pop up, and I would wait till it cools off. And he just was like shoving pancakes in his face. And so I tossed the pancake across the entire kitchen and dining room. And I would aim and it would hit him in the chest every time. And he would laugh hysterically. And then he would like laugh, and then grab the pancake and just throw it in his mouth. And I would... like, okay, he's finishing that one. I'm going to put another pancake. And I would do that. Like, he would have like 4 or 5 pancakes. And they'd all hit his chest. And he would just laugh and throw them in his mouth. And I remember that just... I like, at the time, I'm like, this kid is so weird. But it was... I think some Saturday mornings, I'm just like, I miss making pancakes for him and tossing them his way, and he would just laugh hysterically. So,
That's hilarious.
so again, I am so proud of you, and so thankful to be a part of your life, and we're just so excited for where you're going, and even future Emon, and what his life is going to be like, and
Basketball player.
or football or something.
Something like that.
Yep.
He's got to have it.
Yeah.
He needs to release some of that testosterone.
After how much basketball he watched when he was at our house.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I mean,
nonstop.
He
It was
was
all the time.
obsessed and still is.
Sorry.
But he calls it basketball.
Basketball.
Basketball, yeah.
That would be Emon's version of basketball is basketball, just because
Basketball,
he's the man.
Yeah.
But we're just so proud, and
Yeah, we are.
so glad that we could help and be a part of your life, and and so friends, this is another episode of the Perry Center podcast, and thank you for watching and listening. Be sure to share this as well and pass it on to other people. We have music playing in the background somewhere.
Oh, yeah, you can.
But that's okay. So be sure to share this podcast with somebody that maybe wants to hear a little bit more about the Perry Center and the people that we serve. And until next time, I will see you next episode. Is that see you next episode? I don't know. Whatever it is. See ya.